All right. Wanted to get a quick stream in. I ain't gonna stay too long. Try to keep this under 20 minutes. So, because when you work off your phone, your battery dies real quick. But I received a phone call and I made some phone calls and I got some information that I'm gonna share with everybody. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, the fans have the right to know the truth, and it's just what I was saying and what I suspected. And I have confirmation, and I'm about to share that with everybody. Now, in this stream, I'm gonna talk about what's going on with Tank. I'm gonna talk about Errol Spence. I'm gonna talk about um, some other stuff that's going on, but I'm definitely gonna talk about Sean and what he said on the Porter way because I'm gonna have to just break that down for you. I'm not finna pull no punches, and I'm not finna like fake the funk, and I'm gonna tell y'all the absolute truth. Now, if you a nut hugger of the PBC, you might as well go on and get your ass up out of here because at the end of the day, I'm gonna just call it how I see it. If you one of them, you need not even bother, you know, listening to this stream. And if you say something disrespectful, I'm gonna run your ass up out of here with the quickness, real quick. All right, but let me talk about this. First of all, I'm gonna talk about Jake Paul, fake Paul's fraudulent pay-per-view numbers and the whole event within itself. Okay, once again, Jake Paul didn't do no 1.5 million pay-per-views, and it wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. Now I talked to somebody that covered that event. He will remain nameless. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I'm not gonna say his name, who he's affiliated with, but he covered the event. He said it was nobody there. He said it was less than 200 people at that event, probably. And he said a lot of the people that was there might have been friends or family of the people that participated in the fights, um, and the people that was performing. Because I talked to people in Atlanta, and nobody was checking for that event. Nobody. And like I said, that's why Triller is trying to sue people because that fight didn't do what they thought it would do, and it flopped. And they don't want you to know that. Like I said, fake Paul ain't doing the numbers that he telling y'all. Dude is a liar, and he a cornball, and he's for real. Which leads me to believe that probably Floyd versus Logan Paul is not going to do well. Floyd is banking on 20 million YouTube subscribers. But what Floyd don't know, 20 million YouTube subscribers is not going to fork out 80, 90, $100 to watch an exhibition match. Now, what I don't understand, Floyd is fighting on June the 6th. Okay? Floyd is fighting on June the 6th, which is a Sunday. But Tank is fighting on June the 26th, if I'm not mistaken, versus Mario Barrios. So should Floyd be focusing on Tank's fight since Tank is his, you know, you know, the person that he promotes? And this is what I mean, where you wonder, do Floyd got Tank's best interest? And you wonder if Floyd trying to set Tank up versus Mario Barrios. Because Mario Barrios is no slouch. That's going to be a tough fight for Tank, but if Tank pulls it off, so be it. But you just wonder, why would Floyd, set up a fight and he know his own fighter is fighting that same month? Then also another question that you have to ask, okay, why hasn't Errol Spence made an announcement about when his upcoming fight is going to go down with Ugas? Why everybody is uh celebrating Bud and Pacquiao now falling, not coming to fruition. Well, why ain't everybody having that same energy? Like, okay, Errol Spence, was supposed to be returning July the 10th. It's obvious that Errol Spence won't be fighting July. It's obvious Errol Spence won't be because you need at least an 8-week camp. Now keep in mind they were supposed to announce this fight this past weekend. Well, that didn't happen. So I hope everybody ain't pushing they fight dates back to accommodate Floyd. Because if that's the case, that's some complete bullshit. Like I told you, I'm not worried about backlash. I'm not worried about these people not talking to me and doing interviews and all that kind of shit. I told you, I'm going to say what I need to say. And you have to ask yourself, if Floyd is so focused on Tank, why in the hell is he fighting the same month as Tank? Tank versus Mario Barrios, if I'm not mistaken, is supposed to jump off June the 26th. Wouldn't you be focused on getting Tank prepped and trying? This is why I know Floyd don't really have Tank's best interest. Because I mean, quiet as kept, from what I heard, Tank really don't like Floyd. And I'm just keeping it a buck. I heard he really don't like Floyd. You know, like I said before, I know a lot of y'all see Al Heyman as a god and all that kind of shit, but I don't. I don't see nobody as no god, no nigga. And I'm gonna get to Al Heyman in a minute too, because I'm gonna decode what somebody was trying to say. But yeah, getting back to fake Paul, that fight didn't do no 1.5. Once again, they had the numbers like before a 24-hour period. Usually it take anywhere from a week or two to tally up, you know, what somebody really did as far as pay-per-view go. Because you got to check all the cable providers and all that stuff, different, cable providers, people, from DirecTV to, Warner Brothers Cable to COX, Cox. So you have to check. So it take a little while. But yeah, that's why I knew that something wasn't right. Like I said, oh, it did 1.5. Like I said, they tried to say Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. did like 6 million and it didn't do nowhere near. So if they saying this fight did 1.5, it probably did half of that. Because people wasn't really checking for this. And like I said, the people that was in attendance, they said it was less than 200 people there. They said you couldn't take all the people that was there and fill up one section of that stadium. That's why the stadium was so dark. That's why you notice they never showed a whole outlook of the stadium. They kept showing close-ups. They never let you see, because usually if a stadium is packed, they gonna let you see. Like I said, fake Paul don't got no following like that, and somebody should clown him. You can't even fill up for real. You couldn't even for real. It was cap. That's why you notice they never announced how many people was in attendance. Nobody wasn't paying attention to this fight. So, like I said, fake Paul at the star that he's saying he is, it's all cap. So, like I said, then we also heard about Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders. I already talked about that. And like I said, Canelo fans is mad because they thought I was finna say nigga on stuff that was in the contract did. Canelo is the clown. Okay. It appears Canelo reneged on the ring size. As you see, he buckled. He reneged on the judges. They supposed to had agreed to fight, without a crowd. Yeah, they don't. Well, I'm just telling you the truth, Brad. You people, I told you, people hear the truth tonight. They gonna hear the truth about everything. They gonna hear the truth. They gonna hear the truth. Like I said, nobody checking for fake Paul. Nobody came to that shit show in Atlanta. It was less than, from what I was told from somebody that covered the fight, it was like 200 people there. and they was fans and friends and family of the people that was performing or the boxers. Like I said, I didn't cover way too many fights. When it's a lot of people there, they will flash the lights and they'll let you see how many people in the crowd and stuff there, spotlight the crowd in attendance. They'll tell people to make some noise. They couldn't tell people to make some noise because there wasn't nobody there. So like I said before, it's all cap. It's all cap. Now, let me get to this Sean Porter thing. Sean Porter said on his fake Paul's numbers are faker than a $3 bill, and we already know there's no such thing as a $3 bill. Like I said, this video is the total destruction. Them dudes are frauds, and right now he's looking for his next. He ain't ever gonna fight a real boxer. He gonna fight his next fight, he gonna try to fight ex-football players. He not gonna fight nobody that he think can whoop his ass, and that's just the totality of this whole situation. Now, Sean Porter said something that had certain people scratching their head, and some people was like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Sean Porter basically said that he don't know if he's gonna get the Terrence Crawford fight because he said that he have a team and he's saying all this stuff about exercising your mandatory. He don't know if you can do that. I wish Sean wouldn't do stuff like that. I wish he wouldn't, because I know for a fact you can exercise your right. You tell the WBO that you want to exercise your right as an ain't dead. But at the end of the day, when he say the people that's telling him, hold up right now, well, that's Al Heyman. That's what Al Heyman likes to do. Whenever a PBC fighter, if they not happy, that's what they do. They threaten to go fight on another card that's non-PBC, and then Al Heyman, you know, c- comes up. Okay, well, we'll set up this fight. We'll get you this dude. But the reason why, or if Bud and Sean and Sean's father, I've talked to Kenny several times. Kenny says he has a game plan, and people need to stop protecting people. But that's the problem. You get these PBC nut huggers, you know, that and these Al Heyman nut huggers that come on here and defend everything Al Heyman do. And Al Heyman been on some bullshit. How many times have you seen this pattern? How many times have you seen this pattern with the PBC where they say, okay, well, I'll go do this and I'll go do that. And then next thing you know, thing that Top Rank was doing when they kept matching Manny Pacquiao with Tim, that's the same exact thing that they doing, except they have more of a roster. Yeah, and Sean said he didn't know how to foul, saying he didn't know how to foul, paperwork and all that. I mean, and I'm not trying to clown Sean and stuff, but come on, Sean, your dad is your manager. You doing your dad a disservice by saying you don't know how to fill out paperwork. You either saying your dad is incompetent or you saying you incompetent. And Kenny Porter is a smart man. He's a very smart man. I didn't hung out with him. I didn't been to his house. I didn't, ate lunch with him and shit. Kenny Porter is a very smart man. You doing your father a great disservice. But as it is, people don't want to come out and say nothing about Al Heyman. But if this fight don't happen, it's because of Al Heyman. Okay, that's just the real because he don't want the fight to happen. It's all how many times have you seen? I mean, it's no see. That's the thing. If he go to the PBC, it's no guarantee he's still gonna get those fights. Look how I mean we couldn't get Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence. We couldn't get Gary Russell versus basically anybody that was affiliated. So it's no guarantee, you know, because I'm gonna be honest with you, it shouldn't matter who a person is signed to, because I'm getting tired of hearing that shit. If you believe that your fighter is the goods, you would make fights for the sake of the people. Now, I can't tell you who to support. You support whoever you want to support. But I'm kind of tired of hearing this shit about that you have to go to the PBC to do this, Errol Spence and all that other side of the street shit. I'm saying, what if he do go to the PBC and they still don't give him those fights? Then what? Because the thing is with the PBC, this is like I told you, this is what they trying to do with Errol Spence. They trying to do the same thing with Errol Spence that they tried to do with Floyd. But like I said, Errol Spence ain't Floyd. And that's what they failing to realize. He don't have the panache, he don't have the personality. And I ain't worried about the Errol Spence nut huggers neither getting mad at me. I'm not bashing Errol Spence, but I'm just telling the truth. Errol Spence was not doing the pay-per-view numbers that people was reporting. He wasn't doing no. He did not do no. He did not do no 300,000 versus anybody. He did not do no 350,000 versus no Danny Garcia. That's a damn lie. And he didn't do no. No, he did. He did 100 and some change versus Danny Garcia. He did 100 and some change, maybe 200 versus Sean Porter, and he might have did around 200 versus Mikey Garcia. That 300, he didn't do 300 shit. He didn't do 300 shit. Versus, I don't know why people sitting up there putting them phony, fraudulent pay-per-view numbers out. Okay, because if that's the case, like I said, if that's the case, why Errol Spence got to push his fight date back for Floyd? Why has he got to play the back burner for Floyd? This fight was supposed to get announced weeks ago. Like I keep saying, I don't care if niggas getting mad listening. I don't care, for real. You get mad if you want. You can talk all the shit you want in the comment section, but at the end of the day, fact is fact. He ain't doing the numbers that they, just like they tried to say that the Chalo brothers did 200,000 in that pay-per-view in September. They did 85,000, maybe 90 at best. That ain't for real. I'm just keeping it. I'm just keeping it a buck. Like I said, why Errol Spence getting his fight date pushed back for Floyd? Why Floyd taking up all the promotion? Why is Floyd fighting in the same month as his fighter Tank? Why is people scared to ask these questions? Why is people scared to put these type of videos out? Because like I said, they're too busy having their head up the PBC and Al Heyman's ass. And I told you I didn't do that shit. Them, just like Eddie Hearn, then I guess Billy Joe Saunders, he feel betrayed by Eddie Hearn based off some of the shit that Eddie Hearn didn't let happen with the negotiations with the Canelo fight. That they've been playing games with the media credentials for for the people across the pond. Like I said, you didn't heard all about the dirty tricks and tactics with Canelo. Like I said, people just don't want to hear the truth. I told you I ain't in the business of sucking up to none of these promotional companies. I've been sitting up here contacting and hitting people up, asking when is the tickets for Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor going. Yeah, these people been lying about their pay-per-view numbers. I've been for real. Yeah, these dudes they get mad. Oh, I ain't gonna do no interview with him. So ask me, do I give a shit? Ask me, do I give a shit? Oh, he's banned. So the only person I'll fuck with, like I said, on some real shit, is Bill Haney, because Bill is from the same place as me, and Bill be hitting me up. Me and Bill be we be chopping it up beyond boxing. You know, Bill working on trying to get me a credential for the fight. He working on that. A credential for Devin Haney versus Norris. You know, I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm just keeping it a buck. All these dudes be want you to all these promotional companies. I'm gonna just tell y'all the truth. They all want you to kiss their ass for so-called perks, from Matchroom to Top Rank to PBC to all of them. To Golden Boy, they all be wanting you to kiss their ass and don't say certain shit, even though when you know shit ain't right. Like I said before, I was just wondering how could Sean sit up there and then the thing about it when Sean was explaining why he didn't exercise his mandatory uh versus Bud, and then he seemed like he was getting irritated. I was just like, okay, Sean, you making yourself look bad, and I'm just telling the truth. It would be best if Sean just wouldn't say nothing, because at the end of the day, he puts himself in a position where certain people gonna criticize him. Now you gonna have the people that hate Bud no matter what. They just go, Like I said, he did his father a great disservice by sitting there. Oh well, people need to quit talking. No, we're not gonna quit talking because we're media. This is what we do. We want to know, why didn't you exercise your mandatory to get the Terrence Crawford fight? And then the reason why you sitting up saying, well, you got a team. Well, we know who the team is. We know that your father is your manager. Okay. And like I said, I know Sean don't speak for Kenny and Kenny don't speak for Sean, but like I said, you did your father a great disservice by saying, "Oh well, I have a team," and basically you saying your team didn't. You can't, saying, "Oh well, your team didn't do what they were supposed to do," or you don't know if you can exercise a mandatory. I don't even know how Sean could sit up there and say something like that. And I'm not trying to speak bad on Sean, but I'm just saying that wasn't a good look. But I have to tell the truth. I just have to tell the truth. That wasn't a good look to say, "Oh, well, I have a team," and they saying, "Well, don't do this," because you basically was. We all know who you was talking about. You was talking about Al Heyman. You basically, I'm decoding what you were saying, that Al Heyman don't really want you to take the fight, and this is an ongoing pattern from Danny Garcia to Keith Thurman to all them. All them dudes do is cap. They'll say they want, and then all of a sudden they get a fight with somebody that's on the same side of the street with them, and then they get quiet. It's all cap. Keith Thurman was the one that told Bud to go get a belt. Bud got a belt, no fight. He said he had to do more. When Sean was the champion, when he was the WBC, he said he wasn't checking for Bud. Danny Garcia, when he was the mandatory for the WBO, he did the same shit. Oh, call Al Heyman. Well, people didn't call Al Heyman. And like I said, Al Heyman gonna have to let go of this grudge that he got against Bob Arum for the sake of boxing, for the better of boxing. Because at the end of the day, as fans, you hurting us. You hurting us, and we're not gonna keep spending our money for bullshit pay-per-view fights. Like I said, Floyd Mayweather, he ain't getting a dime from me. He ain't getting a dime from me. I'm not buying that bullshit fight with him, and it, man, he ain't getting a dime but my money. I promise you that. He ain't getting a dime of my money. First, and like I said, I'm still scratching my head, asking this question: how in the hell did Floyd decide to book a fight, schedule a fight, the same month that his top fighter is supposed to be fighting? Once again, why is everybody taking a backseat to Floyd Mayweather? Floyd Mayweather is 44 years old. He's a retired fighter. Floyd is still competing with other people for the spotlight. Well, I'm gonna say this much: ESPN slash ABC slash Disney have unlimited money. I'm a stockholder. I'm a stockholder in Disney. They have unlimited money. They have unlimited resources. It's no way that they can't find a way to get it done to where they could put this fight together. But it come down to Floyd ain't gonna get a cent from me, Pratt. He ain't gonna get a cent. He ain't gonna get one red. And like I said, if you fork out 70, 80, $90 for that, you a damn fool. You a damn fool. If Floyd want to impress me, like I said, go fight. You know what I'm saying? If Floyd want to impress me, if you want to continue to do exhibition matches, do exhibition matches with actual fighters. Or, I mean, let's just get it over with. Why don't you just do a rematch with Oscar De La Hoya? But you don't want to give Oscar a payday, but you want to give fake Paul a payday. You're not making no sense. Why would you give for real? We already failed for this with Conor McGregor. Okay, we watched the Conor McGregor. We watched the Conor McGregor fight because we was interested. But we all seen you carry Conor McGregor for the amount of time that you did. We all know that Floyd could have ended that fight like 2 or 3 rounds if he wanted to. But he carried Conor McGregor. He got the stoppage, as we all knew. He did make it look good. So we supposed to pay money to watch Floyd in an exhibition match against an awkward goofball, goofball, reject actor, surfer, or whatever the hell he is, that don't have no boxing experience, who lost his professional debut. So we supposed to fork out, and then for Floyd to sit up there, and then another thing for Floyd to sit up there and say, "Oh, the Paul brothers are bigger than Canelo." Floyd, stop it. If that's the case, then why did that pay-per-view flop? Why didn't nobody come to that fight? I bet you Jake Paul couldn't sell out. I bet you Jake Paul couldn't sell out the Gun Arena or whatever it's called in his hometown, the Quickest Loan Arena in his hometown of Cleveland. Like I said, you had 200 people at a 80,000 seat dome stadium in Atlanta. They lost money, and they don't want y'all to know that. So I'm just keeping it. I'm keeping it a buck. And like I said, Floyd need to quit being a attention whore. Let Errol Spence have his shine. Let Tank have his shine. And as long as Floyd keep coming back, as long as Floyd keep coming back, boxing ain't gonna get. Boxing ain't. It's gonna be at a standstill. We shouldn't keep relying on Floyd Mayweather to fight. And I think at the end of the day, people ain't checking for Floyd no more like he think. I don't. I think that fight with Logan Paul is going to flop. I think it's going to flop. Now, if Marcos Nam and all them other and Fight Hype, if them dudes want to beg to be part of that spectacle, then go ahead. But you can count me out. You can flat out count me out. I won't be covering that shit. Flat out. I ain't never seen nobody that's starving for attention the way Floyd is, to where he don't want nobody to have the spotlight. And nobody can explain, once again, why are you booking a flight? I mean, excuse me, why are you booking a fight the same month as your fighter, your top fighter Tank, who fights in a few weeks prior, who fights on June the 26th? I can, like I said, that fight with Logan Paul is gonna probably flop. Now he gonna probably tell you it did good, but that fight is gonna flop. If they come with some shit talking about, oh, the numbers were staggering, the numbers and less than 24, I'm telling you, ain't nobody checking for that fight. Nobody checking for that fight. Nobody care about that fight. The reason why boxing can't move on post Floyd Mayweather is because Floyd won't let it. Look, Michael Jordan retired Michael Jordan retired for the third time, almost 20 years ago, and people still hold Michael Jordan near and dear. I mean, his shoes are as popular as they ever been because Michael Jordan let go. He knew he couldn't play basketball at a high level anymore. He let it go, and he's still in high regard. People still call that dude the GOAT. Whenever he show up somewhere at age 50, 57, 58, he let it go. But Floyd can't let it go. So Floyd gonna keep pulling this shit till when? Floyd is 44 now. So for real, you 44 now. You think you gonna be able to keep doing this shit? I'm just keeping it a buck. But Floyd don't know how to let go. If would let go and just focus on being a promoter, Floyd can make appearances and shit, and people will still, pay attention to him because he Floyd Mayweather. But you trying to fight and take the spotlight from other young fighters, you wrong, and you a attention whore, and that's all it come down to. You still want to be the face of boxing, man. If you want to be the face of boxing again, you want to be the number one pound to pound fighter again. Well, hey, you know what you got to do. Come out of retirement and fight a real fighter. Now, if you want to do exhibition matches occasionally, okay, do it with other fighters, man. Do it with people that actually fought, man. Don't do it with no two white boys from Europe, two clowns from Europe. I mean, excuse me, two clowns from YouTube. Y'all gotta excuse me, I'm a little out of it, but yeah, two clowns from YouTube, two YouTubers. And like I said, the shit is gonna flop. Like I said, once again, give the spotlight to somebody else, man. Well, Manny Pacquiao can do exhibition matches as long as it's with people that actually fought. Nobody, look, Pratt, we don't have a problem with Manny Pacquiao doing exhibition matches, but I don't want to see Manny Pacquiao fighting Denzel Washington or or to I ain't even finna say that dude's name. I ain't gonna give that dude no free publicity. You know who I'm talking about, that snitch with the rainbow hair. Even though I would love Manny Pacquiao to beat him to a pope, but he wouldn't do it. I would love for Manny Pacquiao to fight that dude, that snitch from Brooklyn, that snitch. I'd pay money to see that. I would love for Manny Pacquiao to beat him to a pope, but dude ain't stupid enough to do that. Now I would pay for that fight. Floyd doing is fighting YouTubers and all that stuff. Fighting, I mean, I don't want to see no Manny Pacquiao versus Tom Hanks or something like that, or Manny Pacquiao versus Justin Bieber. Well, I don't like Justin Bieber, but I don't want to see that. If he does exhibition matches, if it's against, hey, if you want to do an exhibition match versus Marquez, cool. You want to do an exhibition match versus Eric Morales, cool. You want to do exhibition matches against actual ex fighters, cool. Let's just say Manny Pacquiao say, "Hey, I'll do an exhibition match versus Bernard Hopkins." I'm all for that because Bernard Hopkins is a Hall of Fame fighter. But when you start doing what Floyd doing, fighting YouTubers and failed actors and all that stuff, that's the problem. And Floyd need to be called on that. I'm a black man just like Floyd. That's why I'm so disappointed in Floyd, because Floyd is every day. Floyd is hurting his legacy. He didn't turned his career into a circus sideshow, money hungry, you know what I'm saying? Gimmick. Floyd really don't know what he doing to his legacy. He not hurt. He not helping himself. He hurting himself by continuing. He looked desperate. He looked desperate. At least when Muhammad Ali fought Lau Alzado was a football player, and Lau Alzado was a big dude. But it was an exhibition match. But you fighting YouTubers. You didn't put in all this work, and you constantly throwing it down the drain. So what's Floyd's next gimmick? What's his next gimmick after Logan Paul? Logan Paul. What's next? What's next? You gonna fight Tony Todd? You gonna fight Candyman? What you gonna set up a fight with you and Batista, with Dave Batista? That's who I mean. What's next for Floyd after this? You gonna fight Tinker Hatfield? That I'm got to be subjected to see this crap. I wish Floyd would understand what he doing to not only himself, how bad he making black people look. Like I said, I understand Muhammad Ali has some serious money problems. I know that's why he kind of did the wrestling thing. I know that's kind of why he did the Lao Alzado thing. But Floyd ain't hurting for no money. Okay. And plus they didn't have the media coverage, and they didn't have like they have now. Oh, please don't say that, J Dog, because that could Floyd would actually stoop that low. Floyd would probably stoop that low. Floyd probably don't be surprised. You might actually see Floyd versus George Zimmerman. Well, that was for charity. Shaq, if Shaq really hit Oscar De La Hoya, he could really. Shaquille O'Neal is 7 feet tall and weighed over 400 pounds. Did Shaquille O'Neal like really hit Oscar, or he just got pissed off? He could really hurt Oscar De La Hoya. Like I said, Floyd would stoop that low. He probably would fight Little Nas X. He probably would. He probably would. My next fight. I got a fight in September. I'm fighting Lil Nas X. I'm fighting him in Atlanta. Um, um, he probably, like I said, he probably would stoop that low. And I don't have. I'm not big enough. I'm not big enough. Floyd would never fight me. I'm not big enough. Not as far as like, popularity. Yeah, Floyd, his next fight probably is gonna be Little Nas X, or George Zimmerman, or somebody like that. Like Floyd would stoop that low. Floyd versus Floyd versus the snitch. The snitch, like I said, anything that'll bring attention to him. Like I said, I would put nothing past Floyd. For real. He would stoop that low. Cause he already just showed it by who he about to fight in a month. Taking away the spotlight from Tank, taking away the spotlight from Errol Spence, taking away the spotlight from all the up and coming fighters. He always got to make it about him. That's why he is. That's why he is who he is. In a minute, they're gonna start calling him Fraud Mayweather. And like I said, I'm not paying for that shit. But anyway, thanks for tagging. Appreciate it. I'm out.